Well, hey there, boys and girls. I had just got a text for someone, and he was like, "Hey, I noticed your YouTube channel isn't very large, kind of." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So I thought I'd come on here and say a thing or two. In a day, like other days, where I help people with dog aggression. Uh, there was one case where this is the type of dog that bites unexpectedly, where there's really no way to predict or know when the dog's going to strike. But there actually is. And there's actually a recipe that leads to aggression in the first place. And there's a simple to follow step by step process that starts to reverse the dog's aggressive tendencies. But first off, I want you to understand this. These things are so counterintuitive, it's nuts. Like people will tell me all the time, dude, like I feel overwhelmed, or oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not sure what to do, or I'm struggling. And for me, it really is the curse of knowledge, because I always feel like I'm underwhelming them or not giving them enough, or I should be giving them more. But all in all someone really needs to do is something. But if you do nothing, things will typically just continue to get worse. But if you just start by doing something, you will indeed find that your dog starts to get better. Who knew this training stuff worked? Crazy, right? So here's one of the three things. Puppy nipping. It seems cute. It seems innocent. It's like, why does it matter? It doesn't. They're so, they're not nipping hard. It's just this little soft nip. But guess what? Almost across the board, every dog I've worked with that suffered from aggression never grew out of the nipping stage. They've always been allowed to nip their humans just a little bit. And so that lends itself toward aggression, because guess what? If they can do it a little bit, they can do it a lot. It's like, do you want to get shot with a rubber bullet? No. It's rubber. It's not quite a real bullet. It's like, do you want to get nipped a little bit? It's not too bad. No, I don't want to get shot with a rubber bullet or nipped at all. Thank you. Now, deep down inside, I do. I love getting nipped. It's really awesome. I kid you not. Growing up, all I wanted to do was just wrestle with the dog, watching my friends wrestle with this Rottweiler and watching other people wrestle with their Husky or their Pit Bull. Just seemed fun. And, for a while, I did that kind of stuff and thought, yeah, there's no problems with this. But as I started following that path as professional dog trainer and actually getting my foot in the door by training dominant, aggressive, stubborn, hard to train dogs that nobody else could handle, I started learning real quick these little tiny things actually make a giant difference. And here's why. When you have a dog that goes to aggression as their modus operandi to, operate in life, like whatever it is they dislike, they're aggressive. If they want to get something you're not getting to them, aggression. It's like, oh, geez, dogs, we don't want that at all. So the way we counteract that is to set the dog up for success from the start and say there's certain things in life that have limits, and there's certain things we never want you to do. And if they're never, ever allowed to do those things once, and they've never, ever received any type of positive reinforcement for these actions, it will decrease the odds for them doing it in the future. Now, is it a guarantee they won't? No, absolutely not. It's a thinking, living, breathing, conscious creature. It could totally choose to bite anytime. But what we can do is build a whole lot of trust so we could believe in our heart of hearts and know, like, this dog's not going to bite. And that's how I know most people feel until the dog does bite. And that's the giant problem. So what you can do is something really simple. It's what I like to call the nip vest or the nip cape. But when you think of a service dog, they wear a service vest, which means they're working and do not touch them or don't pet them, or hey, they're on a job, leave them alone. But what if we were to spin it and flip it on its head and say, okay, well, I really do want this dog to nip. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. I love rough housing and wrestling with this dog. But Jeff said, if I rough house and wrestle with the dog, that could lead to a giant problem. And it can. So what I want you to think of is this. Instead of using the vest as a means to say, hey, we're not going to behave a certain way. Here, we're going to use the vest to say we are going to behave a certain way. So when the vest goes on, you could wrestle. You could have fun. I should still suggest do it on your command. But the vest on means it's wrestle time. Vest off, completely off limits. Now, will this decrease the odds of your puppy nipping you? Yeah. Will it increase it, though, versus the other version of not letting them nip at all? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because in the one version, we don't let them nip at all. We're really sending a very strong signal. Hey, never, teeth not on humans. In the other version, we're saying, hey, it's acceptable sometimes, which could lend itself to them doing in others, which leads me to number two. So the number two thing I see most common, most often, where dogs develop aggression, and it's so simple and so silly, believe it or not, is peeing and pooping on walks. I know. You're going to be like, dude, you're insane. What's wrong with you? But I'm telling you, I've been doing this since 2005, and I've helped more people than I can count. And I tell you what, like, I'm known for the go-to guy. Like, if you have an aggressive dog, call Jeff. He'll help you. So here's the thing. And pooping, when they were in the wild, when they were like wolves before we made them into cute little dogs through breeding, and even misfit dogs will do this, is they will kind of like run through their territory and mark it all up and say, hey, this is ours. So when you let your dog mark on the walk, right, and they're peeing on everything along that way, hey, it's real cute and innocent in the beginning, but as your dog starts to grow from puppy marking to adult marking, suddenly now your dog's not just barking, they're lunging, they're growling, it sounds a little more vicious, right? Has anyone else experienced that? I'm sure. So you might not have understood why or how that happened, but that's a biggie. Whew, boy, is that a biggie. And it's so easy to prevent. It really is. Just like, have them pee and poop first before your walks. Like, who knew? Now, I'm debating here on number 3 because, as I'm thinking about this, there's lots and lots of rules that we should follow when we're trying to reduce aggression to the point we don't have to worry about it. And the more rules you follow, the more of these strategies you implement, the quicker you're going to get there. But what I tell people all the time is, look, even if you just did one, it's better than none. If you did half, you'll be half the way there, But the more you do, the more you're going to realize that result and sooner. So here's the thing. I would say number 3, when it comes to this stuff, like the big one, like one of the big ones that I see everyone make this mistake, is they let their dog greet people without getting their dog under control first. I know, sounds silly, right? But check it out. When you're a dog and someone knocks on the door, when you're a puppy, you're like, oh, I don't know what that sound means. But over time, you start to associate door knocks or doorbells or cars pulling the driveway with people are here. Now, as a dog, part of your job is survival, and the way you ensure survival is to find and bond or become the strong leader so that you can trust everything's going to be okay, or at least give it your best go. So because our dogs are usually faster than us, quicker than us, eventually over time, they're racing to that door to greet the person who comes in first, which is no problem at first. But then as that dog starts to mature and they keep greeting these people, eventually they come across that person that they don't want to touch them. So what does the dog do? It cowers or backs away, which, everyone's like, oh, that's weird. He never did that before, but no one thinks a thing of it because it just happens once a month or once in every blue moon or, once whenever someone's wearing a hat or UPS outfit or whatever it might be. So what happens from here is the dog starts learning, wow, so no one cared when I did that. Interesting. Then they might turn to growling and some barking and maybe a little lunging. And now here's where people start questioning, well, maybe my dog's a little funny. I don't know. But usually right after the dog's done growling, barking, it'll go sniff him and everything's fine. So then what happens is someone tells the guest, hey, it's okay. Come on in. Just let the dog sniff you. It'll be fine. Don't worry about the crazy bark and growling. They never bit anyone. Well, you're out. Now the dog's like 2 years old. It's been practicing this behavior for a long time. When it does this, everyone freezes, which gives the dog the illusion everyone's listening to the dog. So why would the dog want to listen to anyone else unless the dog's getting something grand out of listening, like a snack or something, something they want. So anyway, by letting that dog go right to that first person that walks to the door and the dog greets first, this is what, believe it or not, you don't have to believe it. Trust me, I've been doing this a long time. You don't need to believe it. I believe it's strong enough for the both of us. That when you do that, this doesn't affect all dogs too. Let me throw that out there. This does not affect all dogs. Some dogs will show no difference in behavior with this stuff. But for the ones that are struggling with aggression, or if you want to prevent or reduce the odds of aggression in the future, follow these rules. And it's such a simple rule. But hey, instead of, hey, dog, just go see the person because, you're the bouncer and you decide who lets people in. And we, as your parents, we're too afraid to go to the door. So you have to do it for us. We're a weaker species, dog. We're not quick. So you be in control. We don't want to send that signal. So instead, it's just something as easy as, hey, dog, stay. You open the door, let the person in. You see that your dog's comfortable, and then you release your dog to go see the person. That's like a good start, good step in the right direction. What would this look like at like the maximum supreme level of, the dog listening? It would be, hey, dog, go to your place or go to the specific spot. in comes the person, and I tell that dog to lay there on its side, and I allow my guest to pet that dog without that dog going nuts or jumping or barking or growling or even trying to sniff the person. Then when I decide, I say, okay, dog, you can get up, go sniff him. Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy. It sounds a little extreme. But when you're dealing with extreme cases, when you're helping people whose dogs have actually bit other humans, not just once, but several times, when you're helping people that have dogs that have literally been in dog fights that ended in another dog losing its life, this is where this stuff like really, 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 really matters. Now, if you just have a cute little puppy and it's having some of these issues, you might be like, dude, yeah, whatever. But I kid you not, if you're on the other end of this and you're listening to this right now and you have a dog that's like full-blown aggressive and you're like, what on earth do I do? You're like, dude, this stuff sounds great, but I have no idea how to do it or implement. Well, reach out, okay? You can find me at ask. Is that my, no, that's not it. I know my email. Hold on. It's Jeff, Jeff, at askjtdt.com. And JTDT stands for Jeff the Dog Trainer. Well, there you go, boys and girls. Those are 3 big things that if you were to just simply not let the dog do that stuff, you're going to be on your way to reducing any type of aggression that could develop in the future. Why? Hey, I don't know. It's just the way dogs are hardwired. I didn't write the rules. I just teach them to people. And how did I learn the rules? Well, I went to dog training school and got certified as a dog trainer. But before that, I was in love with dogs and read every single book the public library had until I utilized all the books there and dried up the resources and had to go to another library much further away. And this was before the days where internet was easily accessible and on a phone for you. So if you're thinking that's weird, don't. There was a time in history we used to use libraries. It's crazy. So anyhow, boys and girls, I'm so excited to be here for you. I'm excited. My buddy was like, Jeff, what's up with your, channel? And I'm like, I don't know. So anyway, he was telling me there's a way I could stream live to this thing and the Facebook at the same time. I could give that a go here in the future. I was trying to do it now, but yeah, I settled for this, technically impaired, but really good at training dogs. All right, kiddos, you have a good one. I'm going to try to end the live stream, not a lime stream, a live stream in a very cool way where I kind of wave at you as I'm hitting the end button so I look all smiley as it's ending. Let's give it a shot. Okay, I'm trying. Let's see if this works.